Retail crime continues to shift, and so does the national response. Today, we're joined once again by Matt Tierney from New Zealand Police to hear what's changed and what's working and what to look out for the year ahead in 2026. Kia ora, I'm Carolyn Young, Chief Executive of Retail NZ. I'm joined by Matt Tierney, who's the Manager of the National Retail Investigation Support Unit at the New Zealand Police. Kia ora, Matt, and welcome.
Good morning, how you doing? Or afternoon
Good.
now.
Hey, look, since last time we spoke, what are the most significant developments or progress that your team has been making in reducing retail crime across Aotearoa?
So a couple of things. One is that most of the policing districts now have fully embedded retail teams within them. So my team and myself have spent a lot of time making sure that we're all fully connected, working together in true collaboration to hold those offenders to account and reduce retail crime. The other thing that we've been working on as well is what we're piloting a new way of dealing with retail crime files called an initial file investigation team. And what that means for you is that when you report a retail theft crime to us, you're likely to get a response back within a couple of hours asking you for further information. It might be that we need a receipt from you, or we need some additional CCTV, or whatever that is that's bespoke to that individual file. You'll get an email back to the reporting email that you reported us on. And we really want to get that information so we can make those files much more solvable and we can investigate them for you. So please respond to those. Once we do, we get the level of evidence that we need, then we'll forward those on for investigation. So those are probably the big kind of two things that we've been working on for quite a while.
And that's if someone's reporting on 111 or 105?
Yep, so whether it's 111, whether that's 10-5, or whether that's Aura, it will go through the initial file investigation team, and they'll make a bespoke call on the file and ask for additional evidence. And it's actually really good because it gives the person that's reporting it to police quite quick feedback around the file and what we need. So people that are reporting then understand for future times that they report to us what we need. So everybody is better off for it. The files then end up going to the districts and much more solvable. So again, we can hold those offenders to account a lot better. So it's a really good process.
Yeah, amazing. That's just great work. And I guess the other thing too is to make sure that for retailers out there, that they connect in with their local police station. And if they can connect in with their retail crime unit, then all the better, because then you'll know, form that relationship, engage with people that are in your area and they know the issues and some of the offenders and what's happening with them so that you can be kept up to date. So what about new trends? Are we seeing any new trends or offender behaviours or emerging crime patterns that people should be aware of this year?
Yeah, so collectively, the retail sector is reporting that violence and aggression is reducing, which is great, as is reported retail crime, repeat retail theft, which is also great as well. Meat and chocolate continue to be high commodity items. The new sort of up-and-coming ones are coffee machines, and for those of you that have them, the Ninja slushy machines are also very popular items that seem to be walking out of the retailers' front doors. We have seen an increase in fraud as those theft figures come down, particularly in relation to refund fraud and barcode swapping, and internal staff theft, unfortunately, is definitely rearing its ugly head. So just being vigilant in those regards. The way to defeat these fraudsters is just really adhering to your own internal policies that you have in the business, checking things like driver's license, asking the questions of these people, making it that, not necessarily harder, but just making sure that the process is followed correctly and that you're not saying things like, oh, okay, I'll do it on this time. This occasion's fine, because these are the things that these offenders are looking for, are these opportunities to weasel their way in and get free money, essentially.
Yeah, that's really great advice. When we think about advice, remind us some of those really key tips that retailers should be thinking about, how to keep their stores safe and what are the proactive things they can do to combat potential offenders coming in store.
We get a lot of feedback from offenders. We talk to them every time we arrest them, and we ask them just general questions around their offending behaviours and why they pick certain stores and those kinds of things. And they continually all tell us that they just want to go about their business being unchallenged, unspoken to, get in and get out. We already know that the best way to defeat that is through really good customer service, being vigilant, approaching people, saying hi, just making your presence known will actually significantly make a difference. The other things you can do, as well as from a crime prevention through environmental design lens, you can lower shelf heights, you can remove hoarding from front windows, you can make sure the lighting's working, CCTV, make sure you've got signage up, all of those things. There's some really clear and helpful guidance for that on the New Zealand Police website under retail crime and the prevention resources tab. Or alternatively, you can just Google crime prevention through environmental design. Lots of helpful tips that can assist you there to make yourself less of a target, which is the ultimate goal, and then the offenders will go somewhere else.
And I guess it's also about making sure that if you've got a fog cannon, that it's working, that the gas is it's turned on. If you have panic pendants or alarms, that you wear them. That, if you've got a safe, that it's locked, the keys are kept in a separate place, all of those really small things so that you can't be an easy target for a vendor. I think they're some of the additional things that people can look at, making sure that they're really consistent in those internal policies, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. The keeping particularly the cigarette safes and the tills locked and bolted down so they can't be removed. Those are the things that, in robbery sense, that the offenders are the most after, which is cash and cigarette tills. And it is very difficult to get into those cigarette safes when they're actually locked. But frustratingly, when I go into retailers, often those are just then the door's closed, but they're actually not locked. They can just be opened quite quickly. Just one other thing I wanted to touch on as well is the rise of nangs at the moment in the retail sector. They're causing significant harm in the community. They're causing harm from a driving perspective. These people are using these while they're driving. So they're sucking balloons in and out while they're driving. It causes significant issues, creates quite a severe state of inebriation when you're driving. And there has been some really, really bad crashes in relation to it. It's causing a real problem. So as a general member of the public, if you're seeing people driving with balloons in their mouth, please call 111 and report it. You never know, you may save a life as a result of that. We take this very seriously. The other ones as well, is if you're seeing people in and around public areas using nangs, again with balloons and that, please, again, report that to us so we can do something about it. It is definitely a rising problem.
And so when you're thinking about a nang, just for the layperson out there, just explain, exactly what a nang is.
Yeah, so it's nitrous oxide. It can be in any form of container. Some of them will look like little silver vials, I suppose, but other ones are really big, colorful, look like cartoony. But the real kind of key dead giveaway is that they'll be sucking on it through a balloon, usually most of the time.
And so they're buying them just in convenience stores and pharmacies and those sort of places. So just making sure that if you're selling items that contain a nang, like the whipped cream, if someone's coming in and buying that item on, every day or 2 or 3 times a day, question them, as to what they're buying that for, because obviously they're probably using it to get high, and then that's just going to lead down a pathway that we don't want to see in our communities. So look, thank you very much for joining us today, Matt. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you as always and hear how the New Zealand Police are assisting retailers in tackling retail crime.
Thank you.
I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and don't forget to visit www.police.gov.nz. We'll have the link in the webinar just here so you can find out more for those resources Matt talked about earlier. This was part of our Empowering Retail series, your go-to resource for short, actionable insights designed to take your retail business to the next level. Watch out for other episodes and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, ka kite anō. Bye for now.